It's my honor to introduce Senator Rick Santorum.
Thank you, Chelsea. We appreciate your opening up your small business and your lovely little patio here for a nice gathering. And I'm excited to be here with my fellow Pittsburghers and fellow Pennsylvanians. I'd say about half the crowd here is, which I have to say, I mean, it's nice to see everybody, but it's a little depressing. But everywhere I go, particularly down south, I meet more Pittsburghers and more Pennsylvanians than I do in Pennsylvania. But it's thanks for coming out and for saying hello, and thanks for being here to see me, and more importantly, to see my good friend Gresham Barrett, who I think this is my third trip to South Carolina to try to help Gresham. It's a lot of work.
It's a heavy lift.
It's a heavy lift, but it's a worthwhile lift. I'm a huge fan of this man, and you know, I've served in Congress for 4 years, and then in the Senate for 12 years, and you know, you get a chance when you're there, and I was in leadership for the last 6 years. You get to know members, you get to know them well, and you can measure their character. You can measure their, you know, how strong their convictions are and what motivates them. And, you know, people say, well, you know, all the folks in Congress, they're all bad guys and they're all this. Well, it's just not true. There are some really, really good people. It's not everyone, unfortunately. I wish it was everybody. But you do find some really exceptional people. And Gresham was one of those guys that I met along the way, that I just instantly took a liking to, and saw him as a man of great integrity, great faith, great convictions, and was willing to stand up and lead on issues that he cared a lot about. And you throw on top of that another quality which I think is, particularly in a chief executive, is very, very important, and that is likability. This is a very likable guy. When you try to rally folks in the legislature to get them to work to do what is in the best interest of the state, you're going to need someone who they respect, which they will, but also who they like. It's a lot easier. And what I found in Washington is that you know, the best leaders were folks that could, you know, be tough on you when they needed to, but also was someone you could go to when you needed them. And Gresham's that kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that will stand up and fight on principle, but is someone you can go to because he's a decent human being, and someone that you can trust. And in an atmosphere, both in Columbia and in Washington, D.C., where there is a huge trust gap, not only between Democrats and Republicans, but sometimes between Republicans and Republicans, having someone like Gresham in a leadership role in this state is, in my opinion, exactly what the doctor ordered during a very tough time. Gresham is a conservative. Gresham is someone who understands that small businesses have to compete and states have to compete against other states. And if you want to be successful, you're gonna, you know, as proof is in the pudding. Half the folks here are from Pennsylvania because we're not competitive, and so people came here. Well, I know, and because I've heard Gresham talk about it, people leave in South Carolina to go somewhere else because the other states are more competitive than South Carolina. And so he understands that. He's someone who's going to create an atmosphere where we're going to create jobs, be competitive against other states and other nations, and do the jobs that's necessary to create a better quality of life for the people of South Carolina. So without further ado, let me turn it over to my friend Gresham Barrett.
Thank you, Rick. It's wonderful to have this great crowd, and if you are from Pennsylvania, raise your hand. All right, fantastic. Now, keep in mind, these are former Pennsylvanians. They are now South Carolinians, all right?
Tax-paying South Carolinians.
That's right. Thank you. Tax-paying South Carolinians. I'll tell you what. You know, in politics, you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of people that you call honorable just because they are an elected official. But I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when I think about the trials and the tribulations and the major things that we have to overcome in this United States of America, you couldn't have a better friend or a better leader on the national front than the man standing to my left, Rick Santorum. Rick, we're very proud. Let's give him a big hand. Thank you. the Citadel today, and he gave a fantastic talk about national security. You know, our present administration has been very focused on domestic. Ladies and gentlemen, you know as well as I do, you can't pull the curtain and pretend like there's bad people out there that don't want to hurt us. And this guy's voice on the national scene, especially the national security scene, is vital. Is vital when we think about our future and keeping our country safe and strong. So we're proud to have you in South Carolina, my friend. Bill, Oralee, Chelsea, and Bowser. I can't believe the senator forgot Bowser. You know?
I apologize.
Thank you for being here, because let me tell you something. This family right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the heart and the soul of the community in Summerville, the community in South Carolina, and the business leaders across this nation. So thank you for what you do. Listen, I was a retail slob for a while, and I lovingly call it that. My wife and I had a small mom and pop furniture store. We were in business 50 years. It was me, my wife, a full-time delivery boy, and a part-time delivery boy. And out of all the experiences that I've had, Bill, and Oralee and Chelsea, out of all the experiences, whether it's been leading soldiers in the United States Army, being a state legislator for 6 years, or a congressman for going on 8 years, my small business experience has been the most valuable.